Osman Tuesday!
Hiya, yes. Oh, thank you everyone for having me. Thank you, Liz, for hosting this lovely event. I'll just say about myself, I grew up just round the corner in Poole and kind of was a bit born and bred cycling. My family didn't even own a car, so it kind of came natural to me. And I guess what I realised getting older is most people never even get that chance, really. And then just over a year ago, I joined the local Extinction Rebellion group because I worked in the environmental sector for many years in electric car charging, solar panels, heating. And I thought, oh great, I'm doing my bit. And then you're like, oh no, actually, we're in a pretty bad situation here. And so that's how I kind of got involved with that. Then 7 months ago, kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, BCP's got a big problem of, it's not safe to cycle despite, we're making lots of good progress. We are in this kind of environmental emergency. This is something I know about, could do something about. It just kind of happened, really. 7 months later, we're getting ready for a national launch of Cycling Rebellion. We've already got a few groups just almost ready to set up over in Southend. We've got one definitely started, very exciting. But nevertheless, I just thought no one was protesting and making this huge cause for transport, yet there was so much negativity in the news. Our Prime Minister declaring there's a war on motorists and all this crazy stuff, but no positivity being generated, no other side to it. All these amazing campaigns, but no one really shouting about it. So that's me and how I ended up in this position. Cycling Rebellion, you can see that was our first ever bike ride just there. We're an activist campaign rather than just an advocacy campaign, and we're currently operating just in Bournemouth, where it was started, with our core thing being it needs to be safe to cycle everywhere, and we should look at every place where people are cycling, or should be, on the way to a school, or a key route between neighbourhood and school. We should say, hey, it should be safe for kids to cycle here. We could look at most of our bike lanes and say it isn't, so we're excluding a huge number of people from it. Please don't allow me to ramble because I don't know to talk about. But nevertheless, so it's a protest campaign because what we're calling for is a radical change that we know is possible. Places like Paris in 2 years have doubled the number of cyclists through sheer political will, which is perhaps what's missing in this country, maybe, because they, in COVID, threw in all the infrastructure at once to make it easier to walk, easier to cycle. It was dirt cheap, it was made mostly of wood and sort of planters, and it doubled the number of cyclists. And they've now gone, hey, it works, and they're doing it more. Radical change is what we're really calling for, mainly with the key fact, the climate emergency. Some research suggests we need to halve the number of cars on the roads, even if we switch them all to electric, just to reduce energy down enough. And that is an enormous task. So this is really an emergency, which I'll touch on later with the climate, and that's why we're going at this as a protest angle that actually happens sooner, right now, really. So, what do our actions actually comprise of? First, I'll just tell you the key things all our actions try to have at least one of. So they need to empower people, which is something our current political system really doesn't strive to do. And actually, when we want people to stand for things they care about, they need to feel empowered and like they can really do something. It's what we were all told as kids, is that, hey, you can do anything. And maybe as adults, we lose that, which is sad because we really can make a difference in our community. And we're all missing, not all of us, but a lot of us are missing that sense that we think we can make an impact on our community. So we're trying to really embed that and empower lots of people. Or it has to work, so lots of our actions, like our Love 20 and Pool Park actions, need to actually have a tangible impact. And not only is that great for actually, contributing to get more people to do consultations or just make a bit of a news stir about something, it also, the people doing it, they can grow to be bigger and bigger campaigners, and we're building those leaders that hopefully will, maybe go on to do their own things, whatever it may be. And finally, it has to create conversation, because that is really the key thing if we're calling for some kind of mass, civic call for change, like, you saw amazing people like Martin Luther King doing, the suffragettes, with the environment and then the closer thing of transport. We kind of need to be everyone on board with their individual cause. And if you care about cycling, hey, if there's a movement for that, you'd be more likely to be on board with this big change we need to see to save the planet. Nevertheless, I'll tell you about some of our actions. So firstly, critical mass. It's on this Sunday, would you believe it? Might be raining a little bit, but we'll still be there if there's not a weather warning. This is this really beautiful, if some of you aren't aware of critical mass, it's a phenomenon that's been going on for many years. I believe it started in Chicago, where cyclists, cycle en masse and take up most of the road. Here in BCP, we've stuck to just taking up the left side, so a bit disruptive. It's all legal, which is the fantastic part, like Dan said. And it's this empowering thing where you're bringing people together, so it's not some kind of boring, hey, you want to make a difference, come sign a petition. Well, hey, let's all go out, colourful, we're together, it's social, and so that really empowers people, which we love. And it's also your scene, because with my time in the solar industry, basically the number one reason people buy solar panels is because they see them on their neighbour's house. And that's what our activist campaigns really try to acknowledge, is that sociability aspect, it's called, of humans, that we need to see something and emotionally connect with it in order to even think about making a change in our life. And perhaps what our current system lacks is that actually they think in facts and figures and machinery, and we just know that's not true, so it's struggling to engage with people in any way. So, critical mass, we're cycling en masse around BCP. That's actually my mum in the forefront there, which is very exciting. And it's for the people in the ride, it's joyous, and we're seeing kids right in the middle of the bike rides. Kids right in the middle of the bike rides, cycling in the middle of the road and feeling safe. Because when there is a cycling culture, like we learned about in the Netherlands and Copenhagen, people do feel safe and they do cycle. So it's a really beautiful action. What else can I say about it? Yeah, there you go. And is that they fought for the right in the court, the London critical mass, and made it all the way to the High Court. But it was deemed, no, you've got the right to cycle in the road, and no one can stop you doing that. So it is that amazing, yes, it's totally legal, but that element of disruptiveness that creates that conversation. And I'll touch on action being a bit disruptive a bit later. Some of our other actions, there's another one of some of our other critical masses, which has been very exciting. So this is our Love 20 action. So we're really tapping into lots of this aspect of sociability that I think is maybe the key to, you could say, saving the planet. Is that, we would like to think humans think in facts and figures, but everything we know says that no, we're social creatures, and if we miss that element in our decision making and how we engage with people, then we're not truly, for one, the leaders we're making aren't going to be the ones that want to empower people, want to talk to people, and then people themselves aren't involved in the decisions. Anyway, I can go on about the details forever. How our Love 20 action worked, as you can see, we've got some lovely kids drawing on the street there. We actually went out on the street because we acknowledged that fact that, hey, talking to someone face to face, that's how you get connection and get them to care about an issue. So BCP is looking at 20 miles an hour, it's already in the news, so we tried to capture that moment and to speak to people on the street. And this was really enlightening in two ways. Firstly, because almost everyone we speak to has no issue with it in any way, which is surprising because all you hear, oh my God, slowing down the cars, blah, 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 which, there maybe is an argument for in some sense, but the majority of people will say, hey, less pollution, making it safer. They're all for that, but we're really living this sort of bubble in the sense we're all not empowered again. That this was a key study on wind power, that 70% of people didn't mind a wind turbine outside their house, but only 10% of those people thought everyone else felt the same, which is really sad because we all like, I don't want to say how I feel, but the reality is most people are actually on, we all just care about our community, and we're fine with a wind turbine making lots of green energy. So we really touched with that, and it was really beautiful. And secondly, all these people who maybe never would have filled in a consultation about 20 miles an hour were like, hey, I'll do it if it's this easy as just going on a link. And those people I don't think were being engaged with, certainly the people who are positively for environmental measures aren't being. So we're going out and doing that, and that's, I guess, in my eyes, an action that works. And I also made a fair bit of news, which was quite fun because it's, we've got quite imagery, it's colourful, it's positive, it's interesting, which is, I think, a big part of activism. You notice the little 20 hearts, I guess, beaten in a heart shape.
So we did.
Yeah. Okay. And then we carried it over, same thing, into our pool park. So there was the council proposed, and it's still trialling the closure of one of the gates of Pool Park. And so we said, hey, we've already done the 20 stands, we can bring that here because we know that people who are for these things aren't making their voices heard enough. So we went out there and we got 10 people on the spot to fill in the consultation, you know, because they said, hey, I really care about it. We go, why don't you do it? And that was another really great thing. And just engaging with people in public, it's a joy. And you would think, oh, it's a bit disingenuous to go, I'm just going to speak to some random people and be nice to them. But really, actually, that's what humans thrive on, the connection. So you yourself go, no, I'm going to listen to people. And when you listen to them, you feel good. And then, hey, this person's listening to the thing I care about. And it really does work, I have to say. So yeah, we'll be doing more of those. Look out for us in an area near you. And do get in touch with us if there's an issue you think, a consultation or something, because we'd love to lend our power to that in your area. And next we have, we ran a community assembly. So this, somehow this is the core of, the future of our politics. It's the citizens' assembly. 100 people are randomly selected from an area, representing the whole diaspora of the community, and they help make these big decisions about what we're going to do with our society and our community. And yeah, that's really 2 minutes left. Oh wow. It's okay. Three. I can squeeze this in. It's good. No, I got this. Basically, yeah. So we really tapped into that and had a community assembly where instead of just listening to someone speak, we were sat in circles and people then came up with their plans or concerns about a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit, and we were now putting together this amazing report on what people in our assembly thought about it, and it's just very fantastic and interesting. But you'll have to go on Facebook to read a bit more about that.
We will do a follow-up email, by the way, with all the information that all the speakers give us.
Yeah.
So that you can see it and read it.
So, not too much to say about this as of yet, but we've launched nationally now, so we're asking, and reaching out to people all across the country to start a local group. If you know a passionate cyclist to sort of, withhold our values around the country, we're looking to start more local groups to carry on this action around the country. And with that's that call for radical change, because we know it's possible and we know it's really needed, because of the environment. Bit more information there, but a bit to go over there. So,
If you're happy, we could share that.
Yeah.
Happily. And there's a bit of our news articles of how it really does make a bit of a splash, makes that conversation. And I think just even having that in the public sphere is really exciting, because more people would see that than I think would ever get the chance to. And so why do we actually need to do this? Well, you can take, this is Ashley Road, very close to where we are now. And we know we need to drastically change to sustainable travel. And we've got, our current society is built incredibly hostile to anything but driving. And we can switch to electric cars, and that probably will be part of the solution. But we're saying, is that getting rid of traffic? Are we missing the chance to hit two birds with one stone and make our streets safe and accessible and green? And if we can get less people to drive, like that target that some, I think it was one of the UN's research committee said, halving the number of drivers, does that create a nicer world to live in? And you look at modern development patterns, and these are really, not encouraging people to live that sustainable life. And if they can live it, which is, transport really is, that's going to instinct in them carry more about it. And then there's a beautiful street in Copenhagen that, there's no cycle lane here, but it's a beautiful place to sit and spend your time. And a car could drive down here, but what are we prioritising? Pedestrians, parents, cyclists, which is a really beautiful vision of what we could do, but we're looking at a big cultural and physical shift. There's a lovely picture of after one of our bike rides. And so, I really want to link it all back to this, if you can take anything, it's to kind of try and empower yourself and try and think in this new, social way of how we think our decisions should be made in our society. And, if there's an issue you really care about and believe about, it is normal to be upset about it, and then taking action on it is like, oh, actually you're acting on what your beliefs say you should do. So, just empower yourself and empower those around you. And in terms of it being an emergency, yes, it really is. I really wanted to talk about this, so I'm going to jump to this topic. So I know some of you might, withhold a slight concern for disruption. These are the big XR protests back in 2019. And I guess I really want to raise that thing of we are in quite a drastic situation with the climate. an example, some the at 1.5, which we basically have hit, estimates say the Australian economy is done for. Like there is not a future really for Australia, and that's sort of locked in. So if you were in any way on the fence that things are looking pretty bad, they are. But why does disruption in any way have an effect or work? Are we just annoying people? These are all reasonable things to think, I think. But I would suppose you look, even this year, people have broken into oil refineries and shut them down. Doesn't make the headline news. No one cares because there's none of that sociability. We like gossip and drama because we're humans and creatures that like to socialise. And yeah, if there's that question, is it right to block a road if the world's ending? There's a moral conversation there, and there's a drama, and that's being played out. And that's the kind of campaigns in the past that have worked, like the civil rights movement in America. They blocked roads, they got arrested, demonised in the press very much as our modern day environmental activists are, but the same kind of phenomenon occurring there. So some interesting food for thought, I think. And yeah, just that. Yeah, at least this new paradigm of we're going to think socially rather than facts and figures and slow change of laws and all that things. That's not creating the leaders that need to inspire us to save the world. And so we've got coming up the launch of there's the government. Forgot that one. Yeah, we've got coming up the launch of Cycling Rebellion National, so that's really exciting. We'll be continuing the critical mass bike rides across BCP. And I guess if any of you are thinking, hey, can I be an activist? Again, we're tapping into that idea that we're all just people, and lost that point there somewhere. Just come along really. You don't need to sign up, there's no tickets or anything. It's that fact that it feels really good if you believe in something to go out and act upon it. So
What time are you meeting on Sunday?
well, here we go. Here's our next 2 bike rides. So we've got the Critical Mass coming up in Boscombe this Sunday, and then we've got more of an after work one, Critical Mass. They're always at the end of every month, meeting at Bournemouth Pier on the 28th. So some dates for your calendar. Come along, it's really exciting. And that's me. Thank you so much for listening.
1 minute for questions, and then you have to just ask him afterwards. But
I might have rambled a bit like I said I
we
would.
can have the founder of a national movement here from BCP who's doing something pretty freaking
It's a really good question.
No, maybe not, but it's just the practicality about Sunday. So supposing you show up on Sunday at Boston High Street, and then is it like a planned route?
Yeah, so, God, here's something I really should have touched on. It's a planned route, all pre-liaised with the police so they know what we're doing, and we have stewards on the ride, so they'll be at the front and the back. And then at busy junctions, we'll actually, slightly mischievously, block off the oncoming cars to create a safe passageway through. So it's a little disruptive and cheap, huh? I would never block the bus. Not for that long, at least. And so, within a few seconds, we're out of the way of cars, so there's really no issue or disruption, real, terrible disruption happening, but it is still a bit cheeky and fun.
So just on a practical thing, bringing kids and stuff, so how long is the route?
So it's an hour ride. We try and keep it not hilly as possible, and it is at a slow pace. So I think we could easily cycle a lot further if we're going faster, but it's really it's not a sporty ride. It's for everyone, your granny or your kids. So it's nice and slow.
Thank you very much.